Now this is a different YouTube video that we're going to do today, and you must be wondering why I'm sitting in this office. Two reasons. In case you've never seen the office, this is where most of the action takes place, and this is my little office. And sadly, I spend about 70% of my time sitting in the office rather than working on the nursery. But when you run a business, you've got to do a lot of the administrative work. So that's something that I can't help, but I still enjoy every aspect of my work. You'd think that life is easy just sitting comfortably, but I brought you into the office for two reasons, really. To show the office first, and then to show you the office chair that I'm sitting on. Now, we all have these little modern office chairs. Some are more comfortable than others, and they last a few years. I've had some that last about 9 or 10 years, but some of them, if they're treated roughly, only last about 3 or 4 years, if that. And what happens to it? I remember in my days working up in London, I used to work up in London before giving all my time to the nursery, because I had to literally do 2 jobs because the nursery could not support the family, so I had to continue working up in town to earn a decent living. And I always used to look at these skips outside the big London offices. You know what a skip is. They're these large metal containers where they throw all the rubbish from the office. And I used to see scores and scores of office chairs, very good office chairs, but just been thrown into the skips, and they would be taken and dumped into the landfill. And that used to irk me. And so much so that whenever I used to pass a skip, I used to ask some of the workmen, just unscrew the top or get rid of the seat and just give me the legs. They must have thought I was mad. Why do I want the base or the legs for? But of course I knew what I was doing. So I ended up with quite a few office chair bases, which I will show you in a minute. And they date back to the days when I used to commute up to London. This is 1985, 86, 87, 88. Over a period of time, I used to collect the odd chair now and then, and they were made into very nice little bonsai turntables. So I'm going to now show you the range of turntables you can make from the used office chairs, and we will actually show you how we're going to do one of them today. I'm here in our workshop area, and if you recall some of the YouTube videos I've done, the workshop area has quite a few turntables, and I've counted here that I've got 11 turntables. And many of these turntables, believe it or not, were made in the late 80s, when I first started the nursery in 1985-86. Hardly any of them are the same, because they're all made from different types of office chair bases. So they're all office chair bases of different heights, which suit me, because sometimes if I have a tall tree, I use a lower turntable. If I have a low tree, I use a taller turntable. And so the different heights suit me. And this is not an office chair, but this was a base for one of those old 1990s television sets. So this was a base for displaying a television, and I've used this to make a rather tall turntable. I used to use this quite a lot when I used to go to the clubs to talk and demonstrate bonsai, because it was a nice height to use. So you can see the variety of different office chairs that I have. So they've all been used. All we've done is strip the top off and keep the base. And some have casters, some have not. And you can also make office chairs from, this is, what is it called? An artist's seat with a wooden screw. That is also used as a turntable sometimes. The Japanese are very fond of using barber's chairs. This is an old barber's chair. And this barber's chair was given to me by one of my Japanese bonsai growers. This was given to me back in 1986 when I first started importing bonsai from Japan. And it has a pump-up system which makes it rise and fall. But the base over the years has deteriorated, so I welded it onto a dustbin lid. So there you are. Nothing is ever wasted. I hate waste. When I used to recycle things back in the 80s and early 90s, people used to laugh at me There was a time when I used to use the spent supermarket carrier bags because I didn't want to, first of all, buy new bags, but I didn't see the point of throwing away old plastic bags. And now, of course, it is all the vogue. It is very much the in thing not to use plastics, but to reuse them. So what I was doing in the early 80s and early 90s has come full circle and has become very fashionable. And recycling and going upmarket or upcycling, oh yes, that's the term, upcycling, is very much the fashion. So we will show you how to upcycle certain projects. But before I go on to demonstrate how we upcycle an old office chair, these are the conventional turntables that are sold for bonsai hobbyists. This is really like a cake decoration stand, plastic one which you can use. These are proper resin and fiberglass stands that come from Japan. They're really sturdy. And these ones can take up to, I would say, 50, 60 or even more kilograms. I would dare say maybe up to 70, 80 kilograms. They're so solid. And they are used for putting trees on. And you can also put your bonsai to display on them and turn it around so that it gets sunlight from every direction. And the bigger, heavier duty ones are rectangular, so not all of them have to be circular. So these are the turntables that are sold commercially. But when you can make some of these things for free, why not have something for free? Now the tops for the turntables, sometimes if I have the time and inclination, we cut a circular piece, but they don't have to be circular. You can just have a rectangular top, and that is quite sufficient. As long as it does the job, it doesn't matter. So we have here an old office chair. If I can ask my colleague Steve to come here. This is an office chair that we had for a few years, and it was very badly treated, so it's had its life, but rather than throw it away, let's see what we can do with it. The base is rather nice and fancy. Look at it, beautiful. Is it stainless steel, I think? So it'll make a very nice turntable. So let's see what we can make out of it. Okay, let's turn it over, Steve, and take the top off. So if we have a close look, I think it's only held with a few bolts. If we don't want the seat and the back, I think we can remove the entire seat rather than just remove the arms. What a shame, all that lovely metal being thrown. But we also recycle all our metal. We take it to a local metal dealer and we get money for it. Use a finger. There you are, so the back has come away. So we won't need this. This chair has the push thing so that you can raise it and lower it, so that will be very handy. There you are, so the seat has come away. I think we could somehow even use the seat if we wanted to as the base. Alright, let's try a wooden top and see. Can I have that driver please? Steve, I may try and take this off. I've got Steve to cut a piece of ply. If we show what Steve is doing, he's cutting a piece of square ply. I'm trying to see if I can use this base. Right, before we go too far, I see there is a wooden base here. We could probably cut that back and take the upholstery off and just use that as the turntable. But we can also put that square piece on and just put some bolts on it, screw it together, and there you are. Lovely turntable there. And it's also got the facility of raising and lowering it. And all this needs is 4 screws to screw it on. And hey presto, we've got a working turntable. How easy is that? So these we can recycle. I can use this top. I don't want to waste it. I might even make another turntable from that, or save the piece of wood. So I hope you've enjoyed this very simple thing, because it doesn't always occur to people that they can upcycle all these things which are normally thrown in the skip for the landfill. So not only are we doing something to help our hobby, but we're also helping the environment. So enjoy it. Thank you.